David Lee Miller. But for now, let's turn to Libya and the investigation into the attack on the U.S. consulate in Benghazi that led to the murders of our 4 Americans on 9/11 of this year. Calls growing louder about the notes that were originally sent out from former CIA Director David Petraeus. New tonight, both the heads of the House and Senate Intelligence Committees now saying on this Sunday they want to know who changed the CIA's talking points. Petraeus' very own words describing the events in Benghazi.
At some point, that those so-called talking points, in other words, the narrative of how we would call this event, went up to what's called a deputies meeting. When asked, there was no one in the professional intelligence community could tell us who changed what.
This whole process is going to be checked out. We are going to find out who made changes in the original statement.
And that was Congressman Mike Rogers and Senator Dianne Feinstein reacting to testimony they heard from Petraeus. On Friday, the general testified privately behind closed doors before those committees, saying he knew from day one the attack on 9/11 was terrorism in Libya. But he said someone changed the wording and took out a reference to al-Qaeda from the final draft of talking points. He says he just doesn't know who that was. Doug McElway is live for us in Washington. Doug, it sounds like congressional Republicans are interpreting the CIA talking points very differently than the Democrats are.
That's absolutely right, Harris. Republicans are convinced that somebody in the White House or in the administration changed the talking points that came out of the CIA, changed them to hide the fact that the Benghazi incident was indeed a terrorist attack on the anniversary of 9/11, perpetrated by al-Qaeda at a time when the Obama campaign was boasting about al-Qaeda's diminished capabilities. Democrats appear to be circling the wagons around UN Ambassador Susan Rice and the president.
It's one of the most unfair attacks I've ever seen in Washington in 34 years. Susan Rice was using the unclassified talking points which were provided by the intelligence community. They were a consensus report.
I don't know what the Democrats and the White House are trying to hide, because no matter what any of them are saying, General Petraeus and General Clapper both said the intelligence community in its entirety signed off on talking points. They went to the administration, and when they come back, key language was changed.
Ambassador Rice used those changed talking points for her appearances on those 5 Sunday talk shows on September 16th, 5 days after the attack, Harris.
All right, so I'm listening closely, and I'm hearing that they went to the administration. Well, Doug, that could technically mean the White House, the National Security Council, the State Department, or many other entities. Is there any one component of the administration coming under special scrutiny at this point?
Well, as of today, yes, there is. As you heard, Representative Mike Rogers, chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, is for the first time fingering one part of the National Security Council, the Deputies Committee of the NSC. He spoke on Meet the Press this morning.
It went to this so-called deputies committee that's populated by appointees from the administration. That's where the narrative changed. And so how that thing got back to Senator Rice, I think, is probably another question.
Despite resistance from Democrats, Republicans are determined that Secretary Rice testify before the intelligence committees. They also want to hear from General Petraeus again in open session, Harris.
All right. And I also read today that General Petraeus has hired an entertainment lawyer. Why?
Well, he has. Fox News has confirmed the Politico story that Petraeus has hired Robert Barnett of the firm Williams & Connolly to represent him. Barnett's reputation may suggest a book deal. Barnett is not a criminal defense attorney. He has represented many celebrities and people from the world of politics and journalism in various contract negotiations and book deals. So perhaps, and this is only speculation on our part, Petraeus wants to set the record straight in a book that is not written by his mistress. Harris?
All right, David McElway, thank you very much.